that's a super rewarding thing to do. And if you die and you leave that to other people, it would really suck to just kind of wipe all those people off the face of the earth.
Most definitely.
I think it's very, very essential that when you leave this earth, that you have something to leave behind that other people can continue to employ and help people out in their lives.
How are you staying on top of implementing your personal habits into PIE.ZAA and making sure you can create the best quality tasting pizza, but also, on the healthier side?
I thought that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I realized that it's actually something that most people aren't doing, especially with the kids and all this stuff. You're like, can you imagine feeding all these kids across the whole country, not just your son, and you're allowing other people to basically kill your kids?
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show, your go-to for real estate, business, health, and family insight. I'm Chris Salerno, CEO of QC Capital. Each episode, we explore the latest trends and expert advice from industry leaders. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or seeking balance, this show provides an inspiration you need. Join us and elevate your game on the Chris Salerno Show.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show. I'm your host, Chris Salerno. I have Tyler on the show today, and one thing that's very unique with Tyler is that he owns a pizza company that is phenomenal pizza, really good sauce, and it's about the size of my son's whole body. So you're definitely going to want to hear about this. But before that, you're going to learn a lot more about him. And we were also talking about health too. So we're going to dive into the health as well. And I know you may be thinking pizza, health, how's it correlated? You'll find out. So you're definitely going to want to listen. Tyler, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Super excited to be here.
So I will tell you, before we get started, I love Asheville. And I hope your family, I hope everyone's safe. I know Chris Larson's a good friend of mine. We donated and helped out as much as we could.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
And the lady who's actually just in here was a two-time Harvard MBA, lives in Asheville.
Wow.
And she said, I moved 2 weeks to Asheville, and then the hurricane happened. And she said that it was wild, but the great thing is that we got to know our neighbors very well because we came together. And I told her, I said, look, it's the Carolinas helping Asheville out.
100%.
Because the government didn't help it.
Didn't touch it at all.
Didn't even care about it from firsthand knowledge from what I heard. And it was the Carolinas that said, hey, we got you guys. We're going to help out.
Yeah, if you want my soapbox on that, I'll talk the whole hour and a half about it. But
let's hear it. I mean, what's the firsthand from it from your perspective?
Yeah, so I mean, basically during the hurricane, me and my girlfriend were out of town. We were looking for another location for PIE.ZAA, and it struck. And then immediately, what we did, we have a big Sprinter van that we kind of travel around, look for locations with, packed it full of equipment, chainsaws, goods, everything that we could to go help people. So we immediately went back, and we go in, and it is like an apocalyptic state.
I mean, I saw Lake Laura with Chimney Rock, all that.
I'm getting chills to think about it.
I used to hang out. I had a buddy who had a house on the river there, and we used to hang out in that river with tubes back in the day.
Yeah, it's wild. So we've done everything. Me and Chelsea have gone from volunteering in Asheville. We actually created a distribution center to help people, get supplies and things that they need for that. Started a company called AVL Fast that me and my friends put together. And then me and Chelsea separately went up to Hot Springs, helped and volunteered shoveling toxic sludge out of the basement of bars. And then we went down to Chimney Rock and helped and see what we could do down there. And the devastation is catastrophic. Wow. It is unreal. You just need to be there to see it in person, from, seeing like a river being our normal run rate the size of this room to 3, 4, 20 times the size that it was.
Unbelievable.
And you're looking at these pictures, or you're just standing there in person, you're like, how did this come through? It is absolutely unreal. And it makes you really think about the catastrophic events in the Bible and the flooding. And you're like, how the heck would all this flood? There's no way that you need, Noah's Ark to get around. And then you see something like this, and you're like, I could see how everything could just be covered in water. It is baffling. To this day, I'm still getting chills thinking about it. It's wild.
Wow. And the biggest thing I've realized is that, one, the federal government could have helped out big time, and they just didn't.
Sorry, I didn't even get off. I got off that soapbox.
No, you're good.
But that when we were volunteering, we were doing all this stuff. So we're chainsawing people out of the mountains everywhere, and I'm also getting my pilot's license. So we're hand in hand. I'm at the airport. I'm volunteering. I'm cutting chainsaws down, going through trees. I mean, we had to have cut down 100, 200 trees in a 3-4 day span just to get people access in and out of places. Some people, they didn't want involved. They were like, hey, we're good. We don't want people up here. Some people were so grateful they're crying by the time we get to them. But through all of that process, and we're out there getting it and doing it, then you have things like people are getting grounded at the airport. You know, I'm getting flight lessons and I'm just there.
Goodness.
And you see 4, 5, 6 Apache helicopters that are just sitting there. And you're like, what are these guys doing? And they're like, oh, we haven't gotten clearance to go. Well, guess what? There's people dying in these mountains and you're not getting clearance. But then they wouldn't let private pilots go and help out in the private way.
Whatsoever.
It was absolutely wild to see it. And it just gives you a realistic view of you are never going to get help from the government. You need to go and help yourself.
And I think that's what really opened the eyes up of, all the, citizens, the Carolina, people is that, look, we need to help out.
Yeah.
And I know Trump even said Trump was going to come in, but he was told not to because they're going to cut air traffic.
Yeah.
And he was like, why would I go fly in to cut air traffic when you guys need it?
100%.
And that makes sense.
I was just listening to a podcast of a gentleman who was one of the private pilots, and he had helped save some people. There was a small baby that he helped save. There was older woman that he saved, and she would have been dead if it wasn't for them saving him.
I heard about that. It was a very young girl. It was a podcast. I don't know his name, but he's like a military guy,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I
Old
heard
military
about that.
guys,
Yeah.
and they were up just going after it. And that's what they do. They help. They get in there, and they help these people. But then there was so much political BS around it that they just couldn't accomplish their main goals, and they had to reroute a whole bunch of things. And then at one point, you had Biden who came through and shut down all the airspace for 4 hours.
Didn't even land, right?
Didn't land. Just
shut down the
shut down the airspace. No one could go, and there's literally people dying in Western Carolina. It was baffling. I mean, I can't explain to you how frustrating that is, but it just, again, shows you the government ain't here to help you.
No.
You got to help yourself.
Unbelievable. Well, let's talk about, where are you from?
Originally from Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh, called Butler, Pennsylvania.
Okay, you Steelers fan?
Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan. My parents, my dad had season tickets growing up, so we went to some games and whatnot. But honestly, as an adult, I played lacrosse in college.
Oh, so Greg, you missed him. He just left. He played at John Hopkins, D1 lacrosse. Yeah.
That's good lacrosse.
Oh, yeah.
So I played D2 over here at Lenore-Ryan University.
Yeah.
I started that program, and I got the first goal in history. So I always
Nice.
like to brag about that.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
But what were we talking about?
Where are you from? So Pennsylvania?
Where I'm from, Pennsylvania. And came down to Lenore-Ryan and whatnot. I lost track of thought, though, where we were at with that one.
So played lacrosse at Lenore-Ryan, and from there, did you go to Asheville? Or
Yeah,
is that how you knew of Asheville? Because not that many people know of
Correct.
Asheville unless you're in the Carolinas.
So it was a weird stint. So I've been to Asheville before, but I spent pretty much 8 to 10 years in the medical industry.
Okay,
I worked
talk
for-
to us about that. I mean, is that where you were studying in college?
Yeah, so in college I got a marketing degree.
Got it.
And then weirdly enough, my girlfriend in college, her father was selling CAT scan machines, and he was in the medical industry. And I was like, that's what I want. I need some money. I need some freedom. And how do I do that first? Let's get into sales. So I found my way into the medical industry, and I ended up working for Johnson & Johnson in operating room trauma for years.
Really?
Yeah, so first company, private company, traveled from California over to Tennessee, ended up in New York City, and then I came back into Hickory, into a Johnson & Johnson, and then I moved up to Asheville just by coming and help a guy.
What year was that?
That was, so right as I got out of college, I moved to Charlotte, and then that was 2014. And
Were you in the medical space during COVID?
Let me think, 2020? No, that was right as I was departing the medical space, but it was like kind of in between. So it was a weird time because they were so concerned about COVID, and I was in surgeries with people having COVID. We were operating on people that had COVID. Yeah.
Wow.
So everyone was blowing it out of proportion, and I'm literally in a daily sense being in an operating room with people that have COVID, but the outside world is thinking everyone's dying. It was a wild time.
Interesting.
That was also the same time that we opened up PIE.ZAA in Asheville.
Yeah.
So it was a weird transition. So now in Asheville, we've gone through opening a restaurant in COVID and going through a natural disaster, hurricane.
Wild.
So it's been a weird time.
So as a medical professional, we have a lot of medical professionals that invest with us. And their mindset is, hey, I want to build other income, very similar to what I'm generating to retire.
Yeah.
Get out of the rat race. But not you. You said, I want to go create a pizza company. And so what was that thought process behind it? And I will say, for the record, I'm so sad that one cookie place went out of business.
Morsel?
in Asheville.
Yeah.
Because you guys had the best chocolate chip cookies.
They were really good.
I will say I have driven up from Charlotte to Asheville to your place just to have those damn chocolate chip cookies.
They were really good.
And also the red velvet one. Now, they don't fit in my diet, but the red velvet too, oh my God.
They were delicious.
You had a Reese's, or what, Oreo and a Reese's one too.
Yeah, so a lovely girl that we met up there in Asheville was at a birthday party.
Yeah.
And right as I'm opening up PIE.ZAA, I was like, I need some type of option for dessert.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I'm making these cookies. And next thing you know, we formed a whole company out of her just selling us cookies so we can sell them to the public. And then after, 4 years, and we opened up in Charlotte, I said, hey, we need to go to Charlotte. Can you produce that for us? And she was just like, it's getting a little bit out of hand. She's like, the volume's too high. And she was young. She was a 22-year-old girl.
So I left a voicemail message because I Googled it last time I was in Asheville to see if I could buy it. Actually, no. I have it on Instagram message. I actually reached out to her. I'll have to find it after this. I reached out to her via Instagram message. No one obviously replied for me to buy that company.
I've actually tried to buy it as well.
She won't sell it?
Well, it was a weird up and down about, I want to make sure that we're doing the same exact thing too.
Yeah.
And so we were back and forth, and I was like, I don't know how to break it because she didn't want to run the company anymore.
Okay.
It was just, I think she was just overwhelmed. She took on a lot of business, and but I couldn't run that business and a pizza business at the same time.
That place would go gangbusters here in Charlotte.
I think so too. But Sweet Girl, who we have right now, have you had those cookies yet?
No.
You gotta try Sweet Girl. Sweet Girl, it's local to Charlotte. They're really, really good, and they can get all of the cookies to all my locations where I'm at. So
there you go.
But I totally agree with you. Those morsel cookies were really good.
They were crunchy on the outside. They were thick and then soft on the inside.
The only downfall, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
The downfall was that they only lasted 3 days. So
well, they're not going to last 3 days in front of me.
But
they lasted in like less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, but that was the thing is when you're buying these mass quantities of cookies and
you want
ingredients,
shelf life.
You got shelf life. You need it because if you're ordering 3-4 times a week, then that person's coming to your shop 3-4 times a week, and the business just doesn't start making sense.
Like that. Why was the shelf life only 3 days?
I don't honestly
know. Well, they're probably healthier.
Yeah, but that's the other thing
Why
is
were
the
they
Sweet
only
Girl
3
cookies that
days?
we use now have all natural ingredients. They've got the best of best chocolate in it, Ghirardelli chocolates, all the things that you can possibly think, but their shelf life is longer. So I don't know.
What's their average shelf life?
They're like a week.
Why? What happens with the other ones after 3 days? Hard?
I'm really not sure. Yeah, they start getting hard on the outside, and I
Is
don't
it
know
because how thick they are?
It could be the thickness. Maybe it could be. It might have been the packaging. I'm really not sure. I couldn't tell you. We're gonna have to ask her. I got her number, so maybe I can
Shoot
reach
her a
out to her more.
text. I'll go into business with you.
All right.
You want to bring it to Charlotte?
I would love to.
Is there a little space open next to PIE.ZAA and on that little block?
Trying to think.
You have what?
You got the corner spot.
What's to the left of you if you're facing it?
If you're facing it, you got Vinyl on your left.
What's right between you and Vinyl?
It's actually my landlord's building.
Yeah, it's a real estate company.
Yeah.
So
well,
let's kick them out and
I
tell them we want a lease from them.
Browder's got some big pockets, so
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, we'd have to fight him.
And then you said Vinyl's probably taking the end one.
Yeah, so you got Vinyl on my left.
And then a plant store.
Plant.
Yeah.
Well, it's not plant. It's actually a disguised plant store. So the front is supposedly
it's like a
plants.
speakeasy.
And it's a speakeasy, high-end cocktail bar.
No way.
Yeah. Have you heard of Bob Peters?
No.
Oh, he's one of the best mixologists in town.
I don't drink, but
I don't either.
I'll come to just for the atmosphere.
But he makes me mocktails. So I'll go in there and I'll get mocktails, and he does a fantastic job.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to go check that place out.
Yeah, for sure. But text her after this. Let's see.
We will.
Let's see
I'll text her and see what she says.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now there's no book of business, so all we'd be buying is the recipes.
Yeah, we'll see.
So tell her,
I'm with you.
Well, I'll buy the recipe.
All right. Let's see if we can do it.
Because she has no book of business, but we can bring it to Charlotte.
That's right.
100% down.
All right.
We'll
look into it.
We'll figure out how to have a healthy long-term shelf life.
Okay.
For that.
That's right. That's the biggest thing that we have to investigate. How do you make it from a 3-day to a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is a business I love talking about. Before we dive in more into these damn good cookies and why I would go to PIE.ZAA up in Asheville, I would drive from Charlotte just to go up there. Like just for on a Saturday.
Just
go
the
up there.
cookies.
For the cookies, and then obviously you guys have phenomenal pizza right there.
Yep.
So I might as well get a good slice of pizza. But like the cookies, when you bite into them, it was just like that.
They were a lot.
And I haven't had a nice cup of coffee with it, but I bet a nice cup of coffee with it would definitely do.
Just
justice.
go right around the corner. There's probably about 5 different coffee shops you can
little
hit in Nashville.
cafes.
Yeah.
So medical, what said, hey, let's do a pizza place. And not only a pizza place. If you guys don't know PIE.ZAA, you need to go to Instagram, check it out. They don't do tiny pizzas. They do large pizzas. And I mean large pizzas to where I have a Range Rover. It has to go to the trunk of my car to go home. It can't go in the seat. And it is phenomenally good. It is not cheaply made. It is no flop. Like, it is good. And I said the sauce, whatever you guys do with that sauce, you don't have to definitely don't disclose it.
Secret in the sauce, you know?
That sauce makes that damn pizza.
Yeah.
But what went through Tyler's head to say, okay, because I'm sure you were making good money in the medical field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why are you gonna go do a restaurant business, which restaurant businesses are hell?
Yeah. So I'm going to bring it back to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll start there. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur my whole life. I want my
Was
time.
dad, mom an entrepreneur?
My father owns an insurance company, in which it started with a company and then he sprouted off and now he owns it by himself.
Nice.
And my mom was a therapist.
Okay.
So I loved psychology. I loved owning my own business, having my own time. I was so fortunate as a kid that my dad was at all my lacrosse games, all my sports things, anything of the sort. So I said, I want that. If I ever have kids or I have family, that's what I want. I want my time available for those people and people that I love and want to be around.
For sure.
So back then I was just like, okay, I'm obsessed of being an entrepreneur, obsessed of having my own business. And as I'm going through college, girlfriend at the time, I said, the first bit to be an entrepreneur, you need to somehow get money. You can't really start a business unless you have some pocket change.
You need money to make money.
Yes, you need money to make money. So I found that her father was in the medical industry and he was selling medical devices, made great money, lived on a beautiful house in Maryland. And I said, that's what I need. I need to get the money first so that I can go do whatever I want.
Yep.
So I was in process of getting the money. And I spent it was 8 years in the medical industry. And just by chance, when I went to Asheville, I was getting out of this hospital because I was working in trauma surgery late at night. We're talking 11, 12, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning.
And in Asheville, you were working.
Yes.
The hospital's not too far from the pizza place.
It's right in downtown.
Yeah, like you could essentially walk there. Like, it's right there.
So I'm getting out of this hospital, and there's nurses, there's people drinking and having a good time all over the place in Asheville, and there was absolutely nothing open past 10 o'clock.
So I will say, I was in Asheville. I think that night I was staying at the Kimpton.
Yeah.
And I was with someone, and her and I were hungry. And we went to one little like dive bar.
Yep.
And I looked at that pizza, and
Probably the Vault.
Yeah, it's right next to the Kimpton, right there on the left. If you're walking up that hill to where Urban Outfitters is to the right or something.
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
So I went in there and I was like, I'm not eating this pizza. I said, I'm not eating this. So I went online and we jumped in the car, and that was a night that I think I first ever found out about you guys. Yeah, and because you guys were open late, and it was phenomenal.
And that was it. It was like I was getting out late. I was going to Cookout. And out of all things, like I'm a healthy guy.
Yeah.
But when you get out of the hospital, you're late. You're like, it was good in college.
It was good. Yeah, back in the day, high school, college.
Oh,
like,
yeah. So I just couldn't get anything to eat, quality food, So I was like, we got to do something. And I started researching restaurants, and I realized there's really no margins in restaurants. So
that's why I said at the very beginning, what the heck, why did you get in the restaurant business?
Yeah, I shouldn't have, but here I am now, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you did too. My son is too.
Good, thank you. And so just getting out late, and I decided to solve a problem, and that was basically serving the late night crowd. And then in that process, I learned how to make pizza, which is a pure science.
Yeah.
Give people the opportunity to have something that's good for your body in a just of pizza.
Yeah.
But then it just sprouted from there. It was like I'm solving a problem that I needed myself. And we talk about the margins. Okay, so don't really make any margins in restaurants. And I started researching that. And it was either pizza, hot dogs, or noodles that you can make some money in.
Bagels too.
Bagels as well.
Bagels.
And I was like, I can't be the noodle guy. I can't be the hot dog guy.
No.
I'll be the pizza guy.
And who really wants like a hot dog? Unless you're in New York at a street cart. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go late night for a hot dog, but pizza.
Pizza.
Oh, I will.
It's the universal truth in America.
Yeah, everyone likes pizza. So, even around the world. I mean, I was in Spain last October, and people love pizza. Like
Yeah.
everyone just loves pizza.
It's
Cheese, bread, and sauce.
it's everything that you like.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And you can put anything on it too.
Oh, you can dip it in anything.
Yeah, you can make it other styles of food.
Correct. You can put cheeseburger pizza. I mean, mac and cheese pizza.
Yeah, that's you must be knowing what we're doing and cooking up at PIE.ZAA.
I'm pretty good with business. But yeah, all right, I'm on a strict diet, and hopefully my coach is not listening to me. But when you come out, because you already told me you're coming out with it, that mac and cheese pizza, I will be a beta tester if you need me.
It's really good. And so we did it last year in Asheville, and it was a hit. And we call it Bringing Sexy Mac. Is what it's called. So
I like it.
We'll let you know whenever we're going to bring it out.
Please let me know.
Yeah.
So if you, I encourage everyone, if you're definitely in Charlotte or Asheville, to go out to PIE.ZAA. Before, how'd you even come up with the name PIE.ZAA?
So me and my original business partner, who has gone thus far, and it's just me now, but we were sitting in a pool one day, and we were like, what are we going to do? Okay, well, let's keep it simple, because neither of us know what we're doing in the restaurant industry.
Simple's the best way.
That's it.
I mean, look at iPhone. iPhones are simple, and that's
100%.
That's why everyone
keep
has
it simple.
Yep.
Let people kind of just guide them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's why we only have 5 options. You can only get a slice, and you can only get a whole pie, and you can't deviate or change from those options. If you want to deviate, you want to go get some custom, that's fine. We're not forcing you to eat at PIE.ZAA.
Yeah.
Go find something that's custom, but we think we do our 5 options really, really good.
What made you do 5?
I think it was just easy.
'Cause it's simple.
Yeah, simple and easy. I think if you thought about your mains, which is cheese, pepperoni,
Yep.
a garden, which we have, and then we're like, okay, sausage is great.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a rotating special.
Yeah.
And that's 5 simple options. If you need more than that, I mean, do you really need more than that? I don't know.
It's the basic. You really don't.
Yeah. So we were sitting in a pool, and we're like, what are we going to serve? We're going to serve slices and whole pies. We'll just call it, or it was pies and slices of ZA. So we're PIE.ZAA, okay, and that's it.
I love it.
And it was just something stupid and simple. We're like, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Now it flows off the tongue.
I know, I love it. Talk to us about the design, because the one in Asheville is very similar to how you redesigned it. So that was like your first one, and then you're like, and this is what goes through my head. Okay,
Yeah.
the owners are just gonna copy paste,
Absolutely.
design all that. So talk to us about the design, because when you walk in, it's clean, it's sleek, it feels professional. Like talk to us about that, and it flows too.
Yeah,
Just like
absolutely.
how IKEA psychologically makes you flow,
Yep.
it flows perfectly into the seating area, and then you get your pizza.
Absolutely. So as my old business partner and me have a lot of differences, I will never discredit him for the design of PIE.ZAA. He has he has a great design aspect, and that's what he did really good, was design that place. And then I was the operations and making sure, like you said, the flow and the kitchen worked properly, and that was my role. So I credit him everything for the design and the aesthetic of PIE.ZAA. And then I've done my little simplicities of like, once you have one, you learn what's good, what's bad. Like you got to have thicker slats so you can wipe in between the slats and make sure everything's clean consistently, or have easily wipeable surfaces, and have a little more lighting in places that you need.
Yeah.
And those are kind of things that I've done. But mainly the kitchen was my focus, and making the flow well. So just like a McDonald's concept, you're not losing steps, and everything you're doing is efficient, and you can have the minimum amount of employees in that space and make the maximum amount of volume in it. So aesthetically, I have to attribute my old business partner for that.
That's good.
And I'm replicating that one after another, because I think the brand, as you grow, needs to be the same, and it needs to be identified as every place that you go to a PIE.ZAA, it feels like you're the one in Nashville.
I love it. No, I love it. And, I love that you're a good business partner to credit that, because not all business relationships, whether it ended on good or bad terms, that's here nor there. But you should always, give credit when credit's due.
Absolutely.
And so I love that.
Absolutely.
That. When it comes to the back end, let's talk about the kitchen side.
Okay.
A lot of these people, I'm going up to New York with my son. I'm definitely going to have pizza up there. I know it's not in the diet, but I'm definitely going to have pizza up there, because he has to have
You're in New York,
pizza.
you
Yeah,
gotta.
bagels, pizza. He has to try it. And so, a lot of them preach, we have an Italian oven, and I'm Italian, things like that. How did you wrap your head around, okay, what type of oven do we need? Like, what type of dough? Like, all of that to make PIE.ZAA.
Yeah. So, and I gotta say that I had no clue what a restaurant looks like.
I was gonna say, you're coming from the OR, the medical industry.
A kitchen looks like, the flow looks like, all I could think of is if I make this as simple as possible, the simplest that you could possibly think, so that any employee that comes in here can do everything in this business without major amount of training and the ability to kind of execute that seamlessly.
Yeah.
So that's what I attribute myself to is really simplifying everything down from the processes. And I've got a big booklet that I've built over years that I could hand to you, and you could go open up a PIE.ZAA and you could do it flawlessly. And everyone
Sounds
does
like maybe
everything.
something's on the horizon.
It might be. It might be.
We won't get there just yet, but it sounds like something's on the horizon.
It might be, yeah. So we can talk about that in a little bit.
That's good. That's good business, though.
Yeah.
And I think any business, no matter if you're looking to expand it, franchise it, you name it, you need to have that blueprint because knock on wood, if something happens to me, my organization still needs to run. They still need to operate. Just because I die doesn't mean that they stop. They have to run. Our investors still have to get paid, and that's how an organization is supposed to operate.
100%. That's we employ over 30 people at PIE.ZAA between 2 locations.
Love that.
And I really pride myself in that. I didn't realize that I would get so much happiness out of employing so many people, but you realize that you get involved in all these people's lives, and you're really out there to make sure that they have a livelihood, the managers and everyone that you're involved in is taken care of. And that's a super rewarding thing to do. And if you die and you leave that to other people, it would really suck to just kind of wipe all those people off the face of the earth.
Most definitely.
I think it's very, very essential that when you leave this earth, that you have something to leave behind that other people can continue to employ and help people out in their lives.
Most definitely. No,
Yeah.
I definitely agree on that. So you're learning it all from scratch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you must research, and how'd you land on what you guys have today?
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
I was
Taste
lucky
testing?
enough. Taste testing. Yeah, we spent
I mean, you
months.
look good for eating a lot of pizza.
Whenever I first started working at PIE.ZAA, because I was in the operations from the first 6 months to kind of understand everything and anything.
You need to.
So that I can go and guide other people to do that. I probably gained 20, 30 pounds.
No way.
Oh, yeah, I was thick.
Wow.
But since then, I'm a real health nut now.
Yeah, we
and I
talked
work
about
out
it.
a lot. And
I love that.
I really try to stick to as many healthy options as I possibly can. So it's funny that sometimes I'll go into PIE.ZAA just to try, and I'll take a bite. And if customers are there, they'll see me, and I'll just take a bite. Okay, that's good, and I'll throw the rest of the slice in the trash. People are like, "Are you nuts?" And I go, I can't be eating all this pizza, or else I'll gain all that weight back. So most of my pizza eating is
one bite.
taste test.
It's like Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, some Dave. Shout out to Dave.
Shout out to
Come on
Dave.
and see us.
So it's basically a one bite tester,
Yeah.
just to make sure everything's
Make sure it's up to par.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Just a quick reminder to make sure you never miss an episode. Stay connected with us by following us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok at Chris_Salerno_. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube to catch the video versions of our episode. You'll get exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, and much more. Head over to YouTube, Chris_Salerno now, and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned because we've got more great content coming right after this.
Yeah, I don't know how Dave looks so good. Maybe he's doing a lot of working out or something because he eats a lot of pizza. But one of my biggest favorite foods is pizza. I always take my son. I can't eat a lot of pizza because it will definitely get to you very quickly.
I'm kind of dairy intolerant. My girlfriend hates that. And every time I eat dairy or anything of sorts,
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. I'll wake up in the morning, my gut is just turning.
Yeah.
And then she has to listen to me all day. So
Dairy's not. I mean, for my nutritionist, dairy's not truly good for you.
I agree.
I've cut dairy out of my diet, and I have seen my whole body change.
Well, we're the only species that drinks another species'
Correct.
milk.
100%. That is correct.
So that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
And
to
trust me, I love cheese. I love pasta. But yeah, I can't.
The other thing is, we can get on a tangent about our food systems now, is that everything's so processed, and the pasteurization of all this dairy and everything is actually, in a mass quantity scale, you're not getting all these people sick.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They
It's
don't
over
want
long
people to
term.
get sick. But you're ingesting things that have been processed so much. How could it possibly be good for you in the long run?
It's just not. It's definitely not. And I mean, I grew up eating goldfish. And I'm sure you've had goldfish before when you were younger. Well, these days now, if you look at the back of the ingredients, this is bioengineered chemicals.
Ooh.
And when I read that, I threw everything away. And my neighbors thought I was moving out. And I said, I'm cleaning out.
I'm cleaning house.
Cleaned out everything And now we only eat organic. It has
for you.
I mean, shelf life is very, very, very little.
Yep.
All of our fruit, vegetables, I mean, it's like 3 days, it's dead. Like, they're not good to eat because it's all fresh, all organic. And, how are you staying on top of implementing your personal habits into PIE.ZAA and making sure you can create the best quality tasting pizza, but also, on the healthier side?
Absolutely. So this is something that I actually had this massive realization this year, is that I have two friends. They have a really large following on TikTok and Instagram, and they're called Groove with Gaia. Super healthy, super mindful, super thoughtful in what they do. You got to follow these guys, Eli and Cam, and they're about to have a baby, so you get to kind of watch that process too. And I'm in the car with them. We're driving. We're actually going to go to some whitewater, and we start talking about PIE.ZAA and things, and he's like, well, you guys use sea salts, high temp olive oils, all natural ingredients, and the best that money can buy. He's like, why are you not promoting that? And I'm like, well, I was under the assumption that if you're going to put 200 people in your shop a day and you're going to feed that many people, isn't that a given? He goes, no. He goes, there are health stores, people that say they're healthy stores that are using iodized salts and seed oils. He's like, you got to be promoting this.
Whole Foods does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me that we think what healthy is, it's not really healthy. And then we were just organically doing something that I thought was the right thing to do. Wow. And it's just progressed in. So now this is my secondary chance to kind of promote this and tell people that we're putting everything in your body as good as you can buy money-wise.
Yeah.
So if you see a little bit higher price tag, which it's still a lot less than 20% less than your average per inch pizza, you're getting the highest quality ingredients that you could possibly buy.
Yeah. So this is price tag's going to be a little higher, and this is what I talked to one of my team members about. Is I drank Mountain Valley water, and I drink the glass ones, and it's $33 for 12 of them. That's expensive for damn water. However, I believe that if I spend that extra money, I don't believe in health insurance. I believe in health insurance if you have a broken arm, something like that. Other than that, I believe all natural medicine can.
I'm with you.
That's just my personal opinion. So why don't I spend that extra money on making sure I'm drinking the right water, making sure I'm eating the right food, so I don't go to the doctor,
100%.
And prevent myself from going to the doctor, and I stay healthy.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's where I would rather spend my money. So I would rather go to your pizza place knowing it's a healthier option than all these other pizza places
100%.
and enjoy a nice slice of pizza.
Well, and I think you're absolutely valid of doing that. I mean, if you go and you're putting water in your body every single day, you're a business guy, you're running multiple businesses, you're running podcasts, you're doing this stuff. How are you going to make this body function to its maximum capacity
100%.
if you're not putting the proper things in it? How are you going to have the mental capacity, the stamina? How are you going to have the emotion to deal with all the things that you do as an entrepreneur daily if you're not putting the right things in your body? Because I can guarantee you that what other people are putting in their body and their emotions are directly correlating to what their output is in life.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, look, you're a big car guy. Let's say we buy a Ferrari together and, you put regular gas in it and I put race fuel in it. How's that engine going to perform?
It's gonna be a lot less than what you're putting in it.
Correct. And that's we only get one body. We only get one mind. Why don't we preserve it?
100%.
That's the biggest thing, is why don't we preserve it? Our body's made up of water. Why don't we preserve it, and why don't we learn how to tap into it to achieve the highest abilities
We're going to start hanging out outside
Let's
of this
do it.
podcast.
I know.
Man. This is
Let's
awesome.
do it. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a huge fan.
I am too. So I was working in the medical industry prior to, like I said, and I was actually up in New York for a while, biggest cancer institution in the world up there, and I was in it every single day. And I was working in GYN surgery at the time, and it was cancer every day. Cancer.
My mother, she has stage 4 breast cancer. She's going on 8 years, still fighting it strong. And recently it started going downhill because she's having chemo, losing her hair and things like that. And she came into the office the other day to see my son because she doesn't watch my son anymore because of the cancer. And I just looked at her and I was like, and I'm a blunt person. I was like, Mom, you look like shit.
You're getting beat out.
I'm sorry. And I'm like, we need to change your mindset. Your mindset is you're gonna whoop this cancer's ass. Like, your mindset is not there. So I text her in the mornings, like, hey, let's have a great day.
Positive.
Because your mind controls your whole body.
100%.
So if you're telling yourself, hey, I feel great, I don't have cancer, I'm gonna beat this, in my opinion, you're gonna end up beating it.
Your opinion is so right. I actually had this conversation with my girlfriend yesterday, and we were just talking about life and how the mind produces everything you want in life, and that's your health,
Yep.
your outcome, your work, your life, anything. It all starts from your head.
Yeah.
So,
So so the woman who I had on here before, just right before you, she has she is a double MBA at Harvard, and we discussed psychedelics.
sweet.
And she brought up I got to introduce you because she lives in Asheville. She brought up a study that she knows of while she was at Harvard, spent some time at Yale, is that there's 3 different type of jars, and one jar had rice in it with water with bad and negative quotes on it. The other one had nothing, and then there was one that had positivity quotes on it, and it had water. And they said the jar with the bad negativity quotes, and this is just rice and water, turned black. And then the one that had the positive actually grew life form.
That's wild.
And so it's like, just with that right there, that's a scientific study.
100%.
How does that happen?
We're all energy.
100%.
And everything we want to manifest in our lives comes exactly from what you think it up here.
That's right. That's why we're opening up that cookie store.
Yeah.
But no, the biggest thing is you got to watch your health.
100%.
With all these preservatives and everything, especially when you have children. And I was telling her this too. I said, if you are sick, then you make decisions because your mind is not fully there. You're worried about your health. You're going to make rash decisions, and then who has control? The government has control. The medical
Everyone
has
else.
control because you're making rash decisions. You're sick. You don't know what to do. So you need to stay healthy.
The snowball effect,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I didn't know that about PIE.ZAA being very healthy, and I love that actually.
I honestly, I knew it was happening.
I'm glad they told you, hey, you need to get it out more.
It was literally this year that I had this epiphany, and I was like, wow, I didn't even think it. I just thought, if I'm feeding all these people, we should put the best thing that we could possibly in their bodies.
Most definitely.
Seems simple to me, but
Very simple.
not everyone's grasping it, I guess.
Do you have a list? I haven't been there in a while. Don't yell at me. Do you have a list of your ingredients like on a sheet?
I don't think we have a listed ingredients list. No.
No.
Because it's all pretty simple, We got salt,
It's simple, but if you
yeast, flour.
but there's different types of salt. There's different types
true.
of yeast. There's different types of flour.
true.
So if I came in there and said, "Do you guys use bleach flour?"
No,
What type-
absolutely not.
Okay,
Get that.
see?
Don't even.
So
get
that's
the hell
what,
out of here with
see,
that.
that's what most pizza
That's
places probably use.
It's embarrassing that you even said that in front
I
of me.
know. So that's what most pizza places probably use. So if there was something on there educating me saying, wow, they actually use healthy flour, okay.
I do need to start marketing it a little bit better. Yeah. It irks me a little bit that people are willing to put bad things in other people's body.
It's for profit.
Like, you're right.
So have you watched that new Netflix documentary?
Which one?
So it's just came out. I was watching it last night, and it's about how everyone's consuming so much more. So like every decade, people are consuming more iPhones, more technology, more junk. And then it's like, where do we put it? And so it had a clip in there of back in the 1930s, the energy, individuals who were the highest up, Rockefeller, all those guys who got together about energy. They said, well, this light bulb will last 2 years. Why don't we make it last 6 months or a year? And then they have to re-up and keep buying so our profits go higher. Yeah. And then they realize, well, what do we do with all that excess junk? So to answer your question, it's because they want more money.
Everyone wants more money,
It's cheaper.
And which is a tough thing to juggle with me because I think there's so much money out there.
There is.
That you can grab your money, you can get your worth or your nut, whatever you want to call it, and you can still do it good by other people.
Most definitely.
I mean, you talked about your kid multiple times now.
Oh, yeah.
And we see so many kids, and it's one of my favorite things to come and see at PIE.ZAA is that these kids holding the slice over their face, and you just see the pure joy out of it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, what a cool experience that is, and I didn't realize that we would even bring that experience to people. But then you secondarily think about what we're putting in their bodies.
The children.
The kids.
I mean, JFK, which I'm glad he is involved in our health now.
That's my guy right
If you
there.
saw the previous one and him side by side, I mean, it's just like if I was a gym trainer, are you going to want me with a beer belly?
No.
Trying to tell you how to work out? No, you want me fit, ripped, and you're going to say, I want to look like you. Like, that's what you should tell your trainer. And with him, it's shocking, and he even said it, is that right now with children, they're at their highest rate of sickness, and it's because they make the drug company, all that, they make more money on children that are sick.
I mean, if you look at, I think it was JFK that said the statistic about autism in this country.
I think, yep.
And I think it was about 20 years ago, and they said 1 in 1,500 kids had autism.
Yeah, now it's like
It's
1 in
1 in
what?
20.
Yeah.
1 in 20.
It'll be 1 in 5 in the next decade.
Insane. So I'm super grateful that he had the ability to kind of get involved in that system. Because
I hope he goes in there and cleans house.
I hope it just
pray.
wipes it clean and restarts it.
I mean, I'm Italian. I love Italy. Shout out to Italy.
I love Italy.
I'll go there and eat pizza,
all day long.
and I'll lose weight and I'll feel amazing. I'll feel just great.
Me and my girlfriend were just there, when was it? Like last year.
Yeah.
And went for a wedding, but we indulged
in food,
pastas, pizzas, everything that you would think would seemingly make you bloated and
Nope.
upset. Didn't feel it one
No,
time. Didn't wake up having to go to the
because they
bathroom.
banned GMOs. They had
Everything.
no lab grown meat. All of that here, they don't even care.
I mean, even if you go over to these European countries and you get a bag of Lay's potato chips,
It doesn't even
is
have it.
not the
So
same bag of
Stephanie,
Lay's.
who you met, she's from UK. She just got back from UK, got engaged, and she brought back some chocolate, UK chocolate, so great.
Unbelievable.
But she was telling me that they had Heinz ketchup there, and it has 3 ingredients.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
over
totally
there, 3
different.
ingredients. But over here, they don't care. United States government doesn't care.
Which I don't. I guess I'm not understanding why it happens. Maybe it's less expensive to make, but it seems like more ingredients would be more expensive.
But I think at their the amount they're doing it at, it's not going to be as expensive. But I think they're also probably getting funding from these drug companies. I think that's a big thing. So last week, what was it? This was October of last year. End of October, my son, actually, no, excuse me. This was actually 4 months ago. My son, I had to take an emergency, urgent care. So urgent care for pediatricians. We went in there, and he had an ear infection, and he didn't have pneumonia, but he had an ear infection coming. So they said, okay, we're going to give him some red dye, or the red medicine. And I told the doctor at first, I said, look, I'm more holistic. The healthiest route possible.
Yeah.
She goes, great, I am too with my family. I said, okay, cool. Like, I felt like at first, the first time I ever linked up with a doctor, I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
And so she prescribed these, the pills, and she said, look, just crush them up in yogurt. He won't even taste it. He'll be good. I said, cool. We go to Harris Teeter. Harris Teeter doesn't carry it. Cool. Well, can you see if any other Harris Teeter carries it? No, we don't carry it as a company. I said, okay. I call CVS, Walgreens. No one carries it as a company. I then called these mom and pops that I'd never, ever go to, but I called these mom and pops. No one carries it. So I called the doctor back. I'm like, look, he needs it. Go ahead and get me this prescription of the liquid. And then when I went in and see the follow-up, I said, it's funny how the healthiest option, which is a pill format, no one carries.
Yep.
But they make everyone use this red dye. Which they have tested to cause cancer. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it's weird. Red dye actually, and there's a lot of those artificial things that they put into different foods and products. My brother, growing up, he now cannot do any of those dyes, any of the red 40s, any of the artificial stuff. He used to have seizures, and he would, in the middle of the night, have seizures. And they linked it to all of those dyes and everything.
Bullshit.
So to this day, my brother, if it has a dye or a red 40 or anything of the sorts, doesn't touch it. And he hasn't had a seizure since he stopped doing that. Yeah, it's wild.
That's sad that just because of that.
Just because of that. And I mean, it goes back to what you're saying. I think money is the root of all evil. And although it's great and it gives you freedom and life and everything that you need to have an enjoyable life, it is the root of all evil because people get very, very greedy.
100%.
And it's disgusting,
It's sad.
to be honest.
Very, very sad.
Because we're selfish creatures.
Yeah.
And we just want more and more and more.
Yeah.
Especially in America, we're consumers, like you said.
Yeah, no, it's very, very sad.
It's very sad.
Well, so how often do you work out? You know, you're busy. You're going from Asheville. You're going to Charlotte, possibly Wilmington, you know, and some other locations coming soon. You know, how are you staying on top of your health?
I make time almost every single day to hit a gym, get a sweat on, get into nature, do something athletic.
Do you meditate?
Yes, absolutely.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love meditation.
Yeah, we're big sauna house people.
Okay.
And they're actually coming to Charlotte, so shout out Sauna House.
There we go.
You got to go check that place out. Hot sauna, and then cold plunge. I probably and my buddy up in Asheville just opened an outdoor sauna cold plunge called Drip. Ooh. It's a really awesome space. But we go probably 2-3 times a week and we're doing sauna, cold plunge, meditation, really just kind of like getting in touch with that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
So,
interesting.
always trying to, if I'm not in the gym pushing weight or doing something, I took a stint where I was like running a couple miles a day. I hate running. I'm a thick dude, so it doesn't work out well. But if we don't do something like that,
Yeah.
we're in nature doing a hike, or we're at least getting to the sauna,
Just getting
cold
something
plunge,
active. That's how I am. It's like I'm very, very busy. Yesterday I was traveling. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the gym, but I did. I mean, I walked crazy yesterday. So something active, moving around, things like that. Not just sitting behind a desk or anything.
Yeah. And we're really cognizant of kind of how we're feeling. Me and my girlfriend, we always talk about it. We're having constant communication about it. And you can definitely tell the difference of how you feel and what your body wants to do if you're not working out or if you're not moving the body. And it's proven. Have you ever seen the Blue Zones on Netflix?
Why does that ring a bell?
Basically, there's a handful of areas around the world.
Is that animals?
No. It's zones in which there's a lot of different things, whether it be they're constantly moving their body, they're growing gardens, they're walking up and down elevations like they don't have cars. And there's zones around the world, and I think there's relatively like 10 of them where people live consistently to 100 years old. Mm-hmm. And it's just by doing that, just staying active, putting the right things in your body, and just keeping like good community, that kind of stuff. And that's what we really try to put a lot of intention on.
I love that.
And I think it's working out so far for us, and we're manifesting what we want.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's all about manifestation, meditation.
100%.
Your mind is everything.
Sounds like a bunch of woo-woo hippie crap, but it's real.
Not.
It's real.
Yeah. I mean, firsthand, everything I have right here is I manifested.
100%.
So you just have to.
Yeah, I think about something as simple as like, for the longest time, I wanted a Mercedes Sprinter van.
Yeah.
Like since I was a kid, I was like, oh, cool Sprinter van. I want to travel around and do all that. And I obsessed over it until I actually got it. Mm-hmm. And then you realize you're like, wow, maybe all this stuff is actually real.
Yeah, it's attainable.
I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I obsessed over it. Here it is. I'm an entrepreneur.
I love it.
I randomly am now becoming a pilot, and that's something else. And I'm doing it. It's just like you're kind of putting your mind to things, and it's just manifesting right in front of your eyes. So the woo-woo hippie is actually real hippie.
Maybe I'll get a jet. We can fly.
I would love that.
Because we're buying car washes in Atlanta and Florida. So hey, we'll go down there, and hey, who knows? Maybe someone will open up a PIE.ZAA.
Well, maybe we can go into that. We just put a franchise tab up on our website.
Yeah.
So
a waiting list. Hey, if you guys want to franchise, you better hurry up and get there.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. We do really great margins in the business itself. I think we're putting a lot of intention on positive things and putting good things in people's body, and we're a lot of fun when it comes to the Instagram and our personality.
I follow the Instagram and TikTok. You guys do some funny videos, especially those late night people who are drunk.
100%. And that was one of our models when we were open, is like, we want a place where all these employees can go and they don't feel drained when they leave that place. They can enjoy their work and they can go home and enjoy their home life too.
Love it.
Because you're spending 8 hours a day in somewhere where you work. If you're not enjoying it, it's going to spill into your negative personal life.
Most definitely.
So if we have the employees that are happy of being there, it's light, they're doing the right thing, we're putting high quality out, that's going to translate into the art that we're making, and that's pizza.
I love
it. And then that is going to get ingested by customers, and they're going to have a positive experience.
100%.
And then all around, we can have a lot of fun, and we can put a quality product out.
I love it. I love it. Talk to us about demographics. How are you finding those right demographics for putting a PIE.ZAA somewhere?
Yeah, we right now we're really specializing in kind of that late night, like going into an area where we can get that late night crowd.
Yeah,
that was number one. But then secondarily, we realized that our pizza is really good. We have those high quality ingredients, and we don't need to be late night, but we want it available for people. Mm-hmm. So we're putting PIE.ZAAs basically in places that, one, I myself, I'm 33 years old now, and I think I'm cool. I love myself.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I would like to go to certain places like a Wilmington, a Charlotte, an Asheville, St. Pete, Florida, maybe sometime over in Salt Lake City, Utah, where I like to snowboard. So I'm kind of putting them in places that I myself, or the demographic that would have a mindset like me,
good write-offs,
would basically be wanting to go to those places.
Yeah.
And it's worked out so far, so I'm going to keep on going with that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, no, I'm excited for the growth. I think it's definitely, you guys figured out that business model, which is very good.
I appreciate it.
And I like what you guys are doing with it. I think the pizza's phenomenal. It's good.
I appreciate that.
Again, I didn't know how healthy it was compared to other pizza. So now I definitely like that even more for my son too. Thinking about my son because he eats whatever I'm going to put in front of him.
Yeah, and that's huge. And like I said, it was just I thought that's what you do, and I realized that it's actually something that most people aren't doing, and especially with the kids and all this stuff. You're like, can you imagine feeding all these kids across the whole country, not just your son, and you're allowing other people to basically kill your kids?
Unbelievable, man.
That's nuts to me.
Unbelievable.
It's insane. I mean, there's so much development in a kid and growth that their body has to develop.
Everything.
And if you're just putting poison in them from a young age, how are they going to be able to be an entrepreneur?
I mean, how is our population declining? Like normal, like that's bad.
Yeah.
And that's not only our country, it's a lot of other countries too, but like our population is declining.
Yeah. And I don't know what the behind the scenes thought is that, but
more millennials want dogs instead of kids.
We just got a dog ourselves, and I'm like, gosh, it's just more responsibility.
It's more work.
It's more work.
So my son and I on Sundays we go to a dog farm out in Clover, and we train Belgian Malinois.
Cool.
So I put on the suit and I get bit by him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I love. And it's actually I have a bruise right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
But this right here was 2 months ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't think I'll ever lose this. But this was a Belgian that got me pretty damn good.
That's a lot of fun.
And I had the suit on too. And the other tie, you can't see it. It's right here on my back of my forearm, but it pierced my skin on another one. Yeah. But they're fun dogs. But the reason why I decided to go train Belgians is that I wanted to see how their mind is, because all the research I've done, those dogs are off the hook.
Smart.
Like they are smart, they're intelligent, they're fast, and their energy, you have to at least run them 3 hours a day. So I'm like, well, let me go train them to see if I can even handle them with my current lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I realized, well, I love these dogs so much. I don't think right now is the moment that I can handle it. So I'm not going to do it because I feel like it's a lot more work.
Yeah, so my girlfriend, we got this dog, and you know how there's the stigma about pit bulls.
Oh yeah.
This dog is such a good dog, listens, so sweet, probably wouldn't harm a fly ever, but and it's still a lot of work. My girlfriend had to go to Florida, and God rest his soul, one of her friends passed away, and he committed suicide, so she spent 2 weeks down there, and I was dealing with the dog the whole time, and among running the businesses, finalizing my pilot's license, doing all this stuff, it was a lot of work. It was a shit ton of work. It was just like overwhelming amount of work. So dogs are fun, they're great, but that whole training process and that until they get to a point where they're doing exactly what you need all the time, it is a lot of extra responsibility.
Damn right. Right. Tyler, what is on the future for PIE.ZAA?
Oh, all right. Well, the future is right now. I've gotten so lucky. I have one of my good friends that I've known since college. She was actually below me in the freshman dorms while I was banging lacrosse balls off the floor. They'd come up, can you stop banging these damn lacrosse balls? That's ends up being my best friend for now over 13 years. And she came on as operations manager. She was over at the Carolina Panthers running those booths over there. She was with the PGA Tour for a while. Wow. And then our business has grown to a point that I've been grateful enough in being able to afford someone like her to come on and start over all the operations. So we're dialing in all of our operations so that across the board, when we open up these new locations, they're turnkey, they're exactly what they should be.
Love that.
And then I can focus on things that I'm passionate about, is that getting them open and finding new locations.
Love that.
I love the construction aspect of stuff. So the future for PIE.ZAA is that we really right now in the next 6 months are dialing in everything that we have, making sure that every single location that we're doing has the same profitability, has the same margins, and we're doing the same quality across the board. And then hopefully, and you're going to be the first one to hear this, hopefully maybe we're going to have another one in Wilmington in 2025.
Love that.
So we'll have 3 locations hopefully by the end of 2025. And from there, we're going to just see who's interested in franchising, whether we as a company open up other ones in different locations. I'm experimenting with like a Knoxville, Tennessee as well. And just kind of Nashville's a good spot too.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, I went out to Nashville. This was like 2 years ago, and I wasn't expecting this. And I went down. Is 6th Street Austin or Nashville? I think 6th Street is Austin. So
yeah.
Broadway is Nashville,
yes.
right?
Yep.
So I went down to Nashville Broadway. It was busier in Times Square in New York City.
Oh, it's insane.
I said,
nuts.
is this really Nashville? I didn't realize that.
I've been to Nashville multiple times because I lived in Knoxville for a little bit
Okay.
in medical, and I'd go to Nashville, and every single time I was in Nashville, that main strip was just packed, like bars that you're just.
We need to open
like
up a
this.
place. I'll go in it.
It's big money. It's
Nashville.
expensive.
Oh, I'm price per square foot. I'm sure it's up there.
The
We got to sell a lot of pizzas.
the chicken finger company. What's
Which one?
Oh gosh, I don't know why I'm blanking
Not
right
PDQ.
now. No, it's their mascot's a dog.
A dog.
And
Chicken
if he ever sees this podcast or he listens, he's gonna kill me because he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs.
Is he in Tennessee?
They just opened up in Nashville. It's Raising Cane's. Why did I lapse
Cane's.
in that?
Okay.
Isn't that embarrassing?
It's all right.
He's
You
one of
got a
my
lot
favorite
going.
entrepreneurs, but he just opened up in Nashville, and that was like a big deal. You know,
Mm-hmm.
every single time he opens up a new location, he has celebrities
Yeah,
or he
huge.
has something. He does it big, and I would love to emulate what he does in multiple states. But he just opened in Nashville, so it could be a great spot to put it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I love it. I love the future growth of PI.ZAA. You know, I love the health aspect of it, and
Thank you.
where you are as a leader of that company, health wise, and where you want to take it. So I'm excited to see your guys' growth.
I appreciate it. Well, growth. If we're not growing, we're dying. So
There we
it's
go.
important to keep on moving, keep the body moving, keep the business growing. If
I
we
love
don't,
it.
We're just dying.
If
So,
you're not growing, you're dying, and there we go. I appreciate your time, my friend.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, most definitely.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chris Salerno Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insight to help you along your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out directly to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. Until next time, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.